Missouri's 2023 legislative session is now in the books, but not before Republicans delivered on a polarizing campaign promise.
From Jasper, you recognize and move for the adoption of the emergency clause.
Facing the threat of a special session from Governor Mike Parson, state lawmakers passed two marquee measures limiting transgender rights in Missouri. One bans transgender girls and women from playing on female sports teams from kindergarten through college. The other blocks transgender minors from having access to gender-affirming care. It also removes Medicaid coverage for said care for adults.
I don't see this as an LGBTQ issue. I see this as an issue to protect young children.
With legislation like this, it's purely done for political reasons. There's often a bad aftermath for a lot of people.
Opponents of the measures, like the ACLU, are calling out the General Assembly's move, claiming lawmakers are trying to erase transness from Missouri. Our roundtable is here to walk us through the issue and the end of the session. Please welcome back Brian Ellison, host contributor with KCUR, and KMBC9 political reporter Michael Mahoney. Mahoney, we'll start with you. You know, these transgender bills, this was something Republicans had set their sights on for a long time.
Yeah, as you call it, a marquee set of bills that they wanted from the get-go on this. I think what's really interesting is that there were three Republicans that voted against this, including John Patterson, who's part of the leadership. He's from Lee Summit in our area. And then Chris Sanders from Lone Jack, also a Republican, who also voted against this. He's one of the few openly gay members of the Missouri legislature. And then another man from the other side of the state that all voted for it. Sanders now fully expects that he may be either forced to leave or get kicked out of the Republican Party for these votes against the transgender initiatives of the majority.
Do we expect legal challenges or Republicans to go further here?
Oh, I think there will definitely be legal challenges, although it's worth noting that this proposal is in line with what's happened in many other states this session. This is part of a national agenda. It's also worth noting, Cody, that the Democrats got some of what they wanted, that is to say that Republicans were unable to move through the House's more complete version. So these provisions will actually sunset after 4 years, and also people who are already receiving, children and youth who are already receiving gender-affirming care will be able to continue receiving that care. The Senate, which has been pretty tied up in gridlock this week, was unlikely to pass the House's more restrictive version.
And the other thing to note about this is this past week here in Kansas City, the City Council passed in effect a sanctuary city resolution that says that Kansas City will continue to be welcoming to transgender people, and that, as one reporter put it, the effect of this is basically Kansas City is going to treat transgender issues and transgender treatment the same way they dealt with marijuana towards the end before it was recreational.
It's unclear what the legal impact of that action by the Kansas City Council would be, but it is still important. Exactly, right. And all of this is about sending a message, positive or negative.
All right, let's talk about sports betting. Sputtered once again this year, which is a little surprising considering, I mean, Missouri's watching money being made hand over fist over the border, right, in surrounding states. Mahoney, I thought it was interesting that it got to the point that sports teams like the Cardinals and the Royals are like, you know what, let's find another way to do this.
Right, and so I fully expect, and it's not going to be just the Cardinals and the Royals. I think there'll be a coalition beyond sports teams that band together and push for this initiative to be on the ballot in 2024.
Yeah, we know, Brian, that when time comes to sports betting, the House keeps sending these bills to the Senate, right, and the Senate just gridlock.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine a better illustration of the dysfunction that is currently plaguing the Missouri legislature, especially the Senate, than this. Here's an issue where almost everyone agrees on a bipartisan basis that this is what Missouri should do. One senator essentially opposing this issue, Senator Denny Hoskins of Carrollton, is essentially holding up this issue because he has a concern about a different form of gambling that almost everyone opposes. But one senator has that kind of power in the state of Missouri, and I think Republicans may have to reckon with the gridlock and the impact that might have on them down the road.
Yeah, just to add to it, this type of gambling that Brian just referred to there is these video lottery terminals that show up at truck stops, convenience stores, and that sort of thing. That's the third dog in this fight.
Notable, though, to see this gridlock in the last couple of weeks of the session, for sure.
Well, it's crunch time, right, and almost every legislature, you've covered both Kansas and Missouri, so have I. it's like kids with finals at the end of the semester. You don't get to them until you have to, and so this is part of it. The Missouri Senate is not quite as balled up and tied up as they have been the last couple of years, but they still had some issues in this last week.
They didn't have to deal with redistricting this
No.
time of year. All right, Michael Mahoney, Brian Ellison, thank you.